What if I told you the secret to being unstoppable isn't pushing harder, but letting go? The ancient samurai knew this. They trained for years to master one thing, the art of release. No fear, no regret, just flow, like water through a blade of grass. Here's the truth. Your struggles aren't about your circumstances, but what you refuse to release. Today, I'll show you samurai secrets to drop the weight holding you back. By the end of this, you'll never see strength the same way again. The samurai, Japan's legendary warriors, were not only masters of the sword, but also of the mind. Their philosophy transcended mere combat. It was a way of life rooted in presence, adaptability, and the profound art of letting go. To flow like water, as the samurai did, means to embrace impermanence, release attachment, and move through life with effortless grace. Water does not resist, it yields, yet it wears away stone. It takes the shape of any vessel, yet retains its power. This is the essence of true strength, knowing when to hold firm and when to surrender. In the chaos of battle, a samurai who clung to fear, anger, or hesitation would perish. The sword had to move without thought, the body without resistance. This principle, mushin, wushin, or no mind, teaches us that true mastery arises when we release the grip of our ego and allow instinct and intuition to guide us. Modern life, too, is a battlefield, not of steel, but of stress, expectations, and relentless change. By practicing mushin, we learn to act without overthinking, to respond rather than react, and to trust the flow of existence. The samurai understood that attachment was the root of suffering. To cling to outcomes, possessions, or even one's own life was to invite turmoil. Yamamoto Tsunetomo in Hagakure wrote, "Meditation on inevitable death should be performed daily." This was not morbid fixation, but a liberating practice. By accepting the impermanence of all things, the samurai freed himself from fear. When we too embrace the transient nature of life, we stop wasting energy on resistance and instead move with the currents of fate. Water does not mourn the banks it leaves behind. It simply moves forward. Likewise, the art of letting go requires us to release regrets, grudges, and old identities that no longer serve us. The samurai knew that honor did not lie in stubbornness, but in adaptability. If a plan failed, they adjusted. If a loyalty proved unworthy, they walked away. This is not indifference, but wisdom, recognizing that holding on to what is gone only drowns us in the past. The concept of ukemi in martial arts, the art of receiving an attack by rolling with it, mirrors the philosophy of flowing like water. When life strikes us, do we brace against the blow and break, or do we yield, absorb, and rise again? Resilience is not rigidity. It is the ability to bend without shattering. The samurai trained to fall gracefully, knowing that the ground would meet them either way. In our struggles, we must learn the same. To accept falls, failures, and hardships as part of the journey, not as defeats. Zen Buddhism deeply influenced the samurai, teaching them that emptiness was not a void, but a space of infinite potential. A cup must be empty to hold new tea. A mind must be free of clutter to perceive truth. Letting go is not loss, it is creation. By shedding old beliefs, toxic relationships, and self-imposed limitations, we make room for growth. The samurai did not fear emptiness, they cultivated it. For in stillness, strategy was born, and in silence, insight arose. The sword itself was a metaphor for the mind. When polished, it reflected clarity. When clouded, it failed. A samurai's discipline was not just in training his body, but in purifying his spirit. Anger, jealousy, and pride were seen as enemies greater than any rival. To flow like water meant to remain undisturbed by turbulence, to reflect the world without distortion. In our lives, emotional mastery comes not from suppressing feelings, but from observing them without attachment, allowing them to pass like ripples on a pond. The samurai's greatest battles were often internal. The legendary Miyamoto Musashi spent years in solitude, refining not just his technique, but his consciousness. His Book of Five Rings teaches that victory is first won within. Letting go of doubt, hesitation, and the need for external validation was the path to invincibility. We too must confront our inner conflicts, our fears of inadequacy, our hunger for control, and release them. Only then can we move through life with the unwavering presence of a master. There is a profound beauty in surrender, not as weakness, but as alignment with the universe. The samurai bowed not only to lords, but to the inevitability of storms, seasons, and change. When we stop fighting reality, we find harmony. Like water, we become formless, yet capable of filling any space. We learn that the tightest grip leaves no room to receive, and the hardest stone is the first to crack. Softness, flexibility, and acceptance are the truest forms of strength. In the end, the way of the samurai was the way of nature itself, a dance of holding and releasing, of striking and yielding, of living fully while preparing to let go. To flow like water is to understand that we are not the rocks in the river, but the river itself. Life moves through us, and we must move with it. The art of letting go is not an end but a beginning, the opening of a path where struggle ceases and existence becomes effortless. As the ancient warriors knew, the greatest freedom lies not in control, but in surrender to the flow.